this is Jilly Bling. How are you today? I have a project using Gallery Blooms and Everyday Arches. I just received Everyday Arches dies and they're wonderful. There's layer after layer of nesting dies and we'll be using 3 of them today. So look at like every layer you can imagine. This pretty much fills up your whole card, and then this is great for greetings, and you could do all kinds of layering with different colors. I was even thinking maybe I should put a metallic color in there just because they layer so nicely. So here's the project. And here's another one. So something I noticed is many times I saw online where people make the flowers and they're beautiful. Just there's no going wrong with this stamp set. But I noticed that if the color has a lot of Highland Heather, they do Highland Heather flowers and it just becomes a wash of beautifulness. But I'm trying to do the colors kind of opposite or just different than what the designer paper is. So this one, because it's like a solid background of Highland Heather, opposite on the color wheel says do yellows. And I love how that one turned out. This one, yes, it is Blackberry Bliss. And the colors are very similar to the outline, but because the designer paper is primarily in crumb cake, I think it's going to work. And then I tried to use a different color to accentuate the flowers. So this one I did fresh freesia, and this one I did crumb cake. And if you look close, the crumb cake back behind, it's a little bit messy with the blending brush, but the flower covers most of it, and I think it picks up nice natural tones. And then there's a hint of crumb cake on the inside. And then again, crumb cake. And linen thread is kind of crumb cake. So this one is fresh freesia. So I want to do another today using the same designer paper. It may be a little bit more toward the purple tones for the flower, but I definitely want the flowers to stand out. So let me show you all the products used and then we'll get started. Everyday Arches. Did you see on that one? Thanks so very much is from Everyday Arches. This one is kind of fun. Hello, nice big and bold. Know that you are loved, which is from right here. So today I want to use the fantastic one and I want to do hello. Hello, you are simply fantastic. So I want to give that a try. And these are the purple fine shimmer gems. And it's convenient, and yes, it was part of the product suite when it was first released, the lavender set, but it comes in, these gems come in 3 colors, 2 sizes. So there's a rich raspberry, Highland Heather, and fresh freesia. And it comes in small and large gems. And they're perfect for anything that has purple in it. And if you really look at them, you're like, oh, it's kind of Blackberry Bliss, but it leans toward different colors too. But just all in the purple family, they're beautiful. Oh, there's one right here. Maybe we could use that one today. Okay, Everyday Arches, Gallery Blooms, Everyday Arches dies, mixed label dies for the greeting, and Gallery Blooms dies to cut out the beautiful rose. Okay, so here we go. I have markers picked out, ready to color. So you're like, wait a minute, you're breaking your rule where if you're going to color in the purple tones, the paper is purple. But let's see how it goes. I'm hoping that it will still stand out and be the focal point, a strong focal point. So here's paper for the inside, has a little flower, and for the greeting. So we could do that right away before we get to the rest of the pile, because you know, touch it once. So I want to do the hello, nice bold hello. Okay, and I want to do this adorable little flower, which is a perfect addition to the inside of the card. Okay, done with that. And I'll cut this out. Cut that out. Okay. Here they are, and it's colored. So here are the papers for today's project, and the paper cut sizes are in the video description. And then photos will be on my blog, and this is my blog. So I'll be using the perennial lavender paper. Isn't that pretty? $12.50. That's great. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Let's start at the bottom. Base paper. I love Blackberry Bliss. I don't use the ink too often because something about me and that ink, it's like we're magnetic, and I always get it all over myself, like no matter what. So much that I noticed it happened again. It's like, that's great, but okay. So this will just be attached. See, that's pretty too. That would make any flowers you use really stand out. Ooh, think of this with flirty flamingo flowers, or coral, or timid tiger flowers. Yeah, but we'll use this side today because the gems match this. Okay, and then these are for stamping the flower, which is here. And then, well, we're going to use all these arches, so let's pull them out. So the two smaller arches are for the front of the card. Okay, so let me get those cut out. Okay. And there they are. And let's stamp the flower. So in Memento, so we could color it in with the blends, stamp the flower. It's just so pretty. Okay, and there's a die. So I'm going to cut that out. And then this larger die is for the inside. So you notice that there's an arch on the inside. And so that you could see the arch, I dropped this one a little bit lower. Then for a little bit different, this one I pulled it off to the side so you could see the side of it. And today maybe I'll just put it on. See, if I put it on the arch, the centerpiece, if I put it on with dimensionals, then it's going to be hard to write on it. So we're going to get really smart and have a good plan in about 10 minutes. So this is for this paper here. And one note, you need to get it straight. And I'm looking at the bottom, making sure that's straight. And then looking at the bottom and making sure that the amount up here matches the amount down there. And just so you know how important it is to get it straight, if you have it a little bit crooked, your whole card inside looks crooked, but there's ways to remedy that, such as putting it off to the side. And you could pretend like you're showing this off, but if you really inspect this, you're like, well, it's kind of narrow down there and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, I kind of messed up. So there's a way to get around it. If you do a whoops, don't worry, it's okay. Or you could just leave this outside white piece off and use just this one, and then you could perfectly straighten it out. Okay, so let's cut this out straight. And here it is. And I'm looking at it, is it straight? Well, this side here, it looks smaller than that side. We Had to be strategic. Maybe I'll just do just this one piece. But let's see how it turns out in a bit. Okay, so for coloring the flower, I'll do some of it holding it up close, and then I'll set the flower back down here and I'll get busy with coloring it. So I'm going to use 3 different purples. 2 of them are fresh freesia. This one is Highland Heather, dark. And I'm just going to do that for the areas coming right out from the flower bud. So like right here, and do 2 layers of color. Because 1 layer of color isn't truly Highland Heather dark. And I'm just going to do 2 petals at a time. If I did all of them, they would dry, and it just takes more effort to get them blended. So the ink is still a little bit wet. So now I'm going back with the next color, going over the seam. Let it sit for a minute, let it think about being blended, and then move on. And Highland Heather light, and I'm going to try to leave some white tips on here, white tips to the flower petal, just to make it look a little bit softer. And see how that's going to, I might need to get the color lifter to soften that up a little. Oops. Let me get the color lifter. So this is pretty much just a marker without any pigment, without any ink in it. And I just want to make this just a little bit softer. So when you hit it at first, it's like, well, it's not really working. But just give it a minute. Come back and look at it. And see if there's any areas that are real strong, not softened. So one note when you use the color lifter, actually any of the colors, and that is, start out with the dark one just so you could see it in action. So if you have this, the next color we did was freesia. Next color we did was freesia light. Okay, so you could see, yep, there's a difference in all those colors. Then when you do color lifter, it's perfect for cleaning up if you went outside the lines. It'll get rid of about 90% of the color. But also, if you're up here at the top and you drift down into the lighter color, it just softens up the line. But if you think about what the color lifter does, what it does is it pushes the color to the back side. So remember how I was working on cleaning that up because I went outside the line? What it does is it takes the color and pushes it to the lower layers of the paper. But also the color lifter, when you look at it close up, you're like, well, that's not really all that pretty what it does. So let me show you what it does, just so you know the mechanism, how it works. So when you're starting to blend your colors, you know what's really going on. So if you do color lifter, it just kind of makes the paper, the color, a little bit splotchy. But if you had splotchy dark, splotchy dark Highland Heather, splotchy light Highland Heather, that would be a perfect blend, right? So now when you look at that, it's like, that doesn't look too good. But when you look at it with the light color, that looks good. Now when you look at these over here, where you could see, I think this is Pretty in Pink to Rich Razzleberry, you could see what's going on there. Yeah, it kind of looks blended, but really, it's just doing a combination, and they're both a little bit splotchy right at the point where they meet. I hope that makes sense, but if you practice with it on a scratch paper, then you'll know what to expect. If you were just doing Highland Heather dark, and you did this, you would be disappointed. But if you test it first, you know that's where you might go with it. It's a little bit more palatable. Okay, so let's color a couple of the leaves, and then I'll get busy and I'll get this all done. Oof. Good strong lid, exactly what we need. Keep it from drying out. So I'm going to do Pretty Peacock right in the middle, 2 layers of color, and then maybe a little bit at the bottom, thinking that's where a shadow is. Pretty Peacock light to fill in the rest of it. And then if there's any areas that are not blended, you just touch them with the color. Okay, Pretty Peacock leaves. That's a little different. Okay, so since we're working with Pretty Peacock, let's do that. So I have a follow-up to yesterday's story. Yesterday's story was about how it's warm. We've been using our air conditioner, and about 7:30 we turned it off because the outside temperature is similar to the inside temperature, so we'll turn it off. I think it's like at 11:30 or midnight that night, not last night, but the night before, the air conditioner just started, it just went on, and it was just blowing. I'm like, what's going on? And I went to turn it off, and it was already in the off position. So how do you turn it off if it's already in off? And then I noticed it's stinky. Not just like you haven't used your heater all summer stinky. It was like electrical stinky, bad. So went back, woke up Tony and said, can you turn off the fan? Turn off the air conditioner or the heater or whatever it is. I can't turn it off because it's already off, but it's going. And so he went, he put on his glasses. He's trying to turn it off. He can't turn it off. He goes, it stinks. I'm like, yeah. So he went over to the panel, the breaker box, and he turned it off. Whew. So we had the windows open for half the night, and that worked. It cleared it out actually pretty quick. It probably wasn't even half the night. It was probably just a few hours, and it was all cleared out. So he says, okay, tomorrow I'm going to call the man. So he called, and they said that they would be out here today at 9 o'clock. Okay, and sure enough, the guy came out. So what it is, and it didn't cost nearly as much as we were thinking we're going to have to replace everything. It was just because it's old, because no, our house isn't brand new, but somehow the wiring, it, I don't know, it detached, or anyhow, 2 of the wires, they got hot, the fan was going, they got hotter and hotter and hotter, they melted together, which is what made the fan keep going. And the guy came out and he says, well, this circuit and this circuit, they're all melted together, so we need to get that fixed. And he got it all fixed up. Good thing we don't need no motherboard, we don't need a new unit. So that's really good. Really good. So that's the end of that story. The other part of the story is I need a book or a folder on when things go wrong, what do you do? Like a very comprehensive book. And I've made a list of things that I think need to be in it. So that was our excitement today. Freesia, light. That's it. I didn't leave much room for white. Oh, I didn't do it down here. Then I'll do the color lifter, just to soften it up. And you'll see on the pictures that it's not perfect, but that little white edge makes the flower really vibrant and dramatic. And I had a friend who has taken a lot of art classes. It's so fun to watch her work. And she said at her watercolor class, the instructor says you always need to include white in all of your watercoloring. And when she said that, I was like, oh, okay. Then when I thought about it, it's like, well, some watercolors, you don't want white in there. But then I thought, well, maybe a highlight you want in there. So that would be white. Okay. So ever since she said that, I've tried to leave a bit of white. I don't always, because I didn't take the class. She took the class. She knows stuff. But it is a good tip. So when I'm thinking about the samples, did I leave white? These flowers right here on top? No, I didn't leave any white. The yellow ones I did. So that would be like 4 colors in each leaf if I left white. The yellow one, yeah. See how there's white at the top? I guess that's when I remembered her lesson, to leave the white. Coloring and coloring. Okay, so we have 1 flower done, this one halfway done. This one is almost done. I like how the dark color looks against the white tips. Like, see what I'm coloring right here? Doesn't that really brighten up those white tips when you see the dark color against it? Coloring. So after I'm done with this part, I'm going to use the blending brush to do a swoosh of color on the white focal arch. So on the other cards, the yellow one I used crumb cake, and the blackberry bliss one I used freesia. So this one I want to use heather. So if you're looking at the colors in the paper, that has all the colors, kind of like this one. And then I'll do a little swish of that color on the inside to accentuate this adorable little bouquet. Okay, color lifter. Soften up those petals. Sometimes when I do this, it splotches the color so much that instead of it being white, it becomes light purple. Okay, one more flower. So, Highland Heather Dark. Highland Heather Light, it just wasn't strong enough of a difference in color compared to the Fresh Freesia. If I go really fast, do you think I could do the whole thing? I'm gonna try. Do it fast. It's gonna be fun to use that arched stamp. There's another stamp available that has like a seam that you can stamp and it fits inside the arches. I didn't get it. I keep thinking about it though. Fresh Freesia Light. I need Fresh Freesia Dark. I'm trying to rush. But the everyday arches, it took a while for me to warm up to it. I don't know why. I was thinking that all that you can do with them is rainbows. And I've bought my fair share of rainbows in the past years. So it's like, well, I really don't want to, and yes, you can do rainbows with them. But it's nice for like a focal point, a nice shape. So I finally got ready and bought them, and then they were on back order. It didn't take long. It was like a week later, and I got the notice. They're done being on back order. And did you know that Stampin' Up! Has a new feature where if you want something that's on back order, go ahead and put the item number in. When you click submit or to, when you click that you want it, it's going to say, sorry, it's on back order. Do you want to be notified? And all it needs is your email address, which if you have a Stampin' Up! Online profile, your email is already in there. And just say yes, because then as soon as it comes off a back order, they have it in the warehouse, then you can order it and they send you an email, which is very convenient because as a demonstrator, I can always tell you the approximate date. Well, I say that. They say it will come in the week of, let's see, what was yesterday? July 27th was yesterday. So they'll tell you it'll come in on Monday, the week of July 27th. Then if you go to order it on July 27th, you're like, you told me it would be in. Then when you read it, it says, we told you it would be in the week of. So that just means that it's going to be arriving on the Monday truck. And you have to give them a little bit of time to get it into their inventory system and then get it out in the warehouse. That's when you get the email. Okay, we're done. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's see if it's too much purple. I think because this is crumb cake, it's going to be good. It is kind of matchy-matchy though. I think these other two stand out better. Maybe with a bow. Oh, and I have an idea for a bow. This is gold, but I think it goes great with crumb cake. Let's see if this is going to be my shining star that makes the project. Oh, it's looking pretty. Double bow. This is going to be the answer. I hear a bow out there barking. Maybe I'm getting a delivery. Amazon delivers something to me pretty much every day. Amazon or Stampin' Up? Okay. Let's see if this is going to be. Oh, we have to put the words on there. That big hello. I like that big hello. Just because there's no toying around with it. It says hello. Okay, that's pretty. And then bling. Okay, we're done with markers. Let's do the swish of color. That could pizzazz it too. So the swish of color on this one is going to be Highland Heather, which is a little bit more of the blue, purple. Highland Heather. So fresh freesias, this one. Crumb cake is this one. This one kind of has a vintagey feel. Okay, so Highland Heather. I think I hear the vacuum going. That started an hour ago, and here it is. It's deciding it needs to go again. Roomba. Okay. So when you're thinking Highland Heather, that's very different than Blackberry Bliss and Fresh Freesia. But this is just like a combination of purples. Okay, so get it inked up. Check and see what see that could have been what was on here. So I'm just going to take off some of that color. I'll start at the bottom on my scratch paper and then work my way up, just trying to get it as a soft look. Okay, that's good. That's soft. I got swishes, but don't worry, especially with this card. And also, the less ink that's on your blending brush, the softer it gets. So I'm putting a little more pressure on it now that I know the heavy ink is kind of already off of there. And it's okay if you look at that and say, yeah, do it again. It's going to be fine. Because if you saw the crumb cake one, yeah, that probably deserved to be scrapped, but it worked out just fine. Because see how you keep going, it's getting softer and softer? And you're probably like, okay, maybe you're redeeming yourself. The Highland Heather is a blue or purple. So again, playing with all the purple colors. You know, what's the color wheel? What's the color wheel say? They're monochromatic? Is that what it says? It says monochromatic. Look at all those. Heather, blackberry, freesia. They're not in the window, but the designer paper says that they are. Okay, and while there's a little bit of ink on here, I'm going to brush this down here. Oh, you hear Bo out there barking? I know what he's barking about. He's barking because he wants a drink of his water, and the bee wasps hang out because they want his water too. I can't even see him. I know what he's doing. It's like, that's my water. I should save him. Hold on. I know we're almost done, but hold on. I don't want him barking the whole time. Isn't it funny how you get to know your dog's barks and what they mean? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh, come here. Oh, come. Come on, come. Come. That didn't work. He's still out there, but he got a drink, so maybe he's happy. But see, if he's that strongly opinionated about bees and wasps, they're not bees, they're wasps, sharing his water, you know that means at one point he got stung. And you know, if there was a bee, he tries to bite it. Oh, is that cute? Where's that big flower with the gold on it? That's really pretty. And I know it's matchy-matchy. Okay. It is kind of matchy-matchy. I think that this one on here, okay, this is what I was talking about. So that looks good. But when you look at this card, I'm going to take it away and bring it right back. It's kind of a blob of color. That stands out. This one, because it has more of a crumb cake background, I think we're okay here. That's really pretty. Do I dare put it right in the middle? No. Do I dare put it at the bottom? Hello. Should I put it off to the side? Nope, it's going to be the same as all the others. Oh, we still have to do that arch thing. Let's do that. So I'll put this back behind so we can see the perimeter of the paper. Okay. Bo just came up on the stoop. I could tell because he goes, but he's gone. I'm going to first test, because I haven't used this stamp. You are simply fantastic. Okay, and whenever I have a polymer stamp, I like to take it. My hand is not clingy, because if I put it on the glass, it's sticking to it. Sometimes if you put it on the paper, it's not sticking too much. But my hand definitely isn't clingy. Okay, that's right how it was formed. Oh, I should show you bad first. Okay, I'm going to show you bad first. So you pull it out of the box and you put it on here, and there you go. Then when you go to put it on here, you're like, the shape is wrong because the IC is coming off the edge. You have to let the polymer. But see, that could be convenient because if you wanted to, you could reshape it to go on the outside if you wanted to. Because polymer can really bend. But I want to go with what the designer suggested. So that's not sticking at all to anything. So that, I'm assuming that's its natural shape. Okay, let me check. That's simply fantastic. Okay, so let's check how it works out. Because it's a brand new stamp. I'm just checking. That will do just fine. So now I'm going to stamp that right on here. Are you nervous? I'm kind of nervous. And I want to go quickly from stamp pad to paper. Because sometimes with new stamps, the ink kind of balls up on the polymer. Okay. Are you excited? Mm-hmm. I planned that. I love that. I think this is the one that I cut the white crooked, the arch crooked out of the... This one might have to be all on its own. Yeah, because this side is narrow, this side is wide. So I think chances are it's going to go just like this. Because this one was crooked, but that looks good. Okay. This one I did straight and just dropped it down a little bit so you can see the arch. So this one, I think it's going to go just like that. That's what we're going to do. So this will be discarded because it's crooked. Small, big, bigger, a little bit smaller. Just a little. Variety is good. See, now I'm wanting to put it on with dimensionals. But I won't, because then you can't write. So it's going to say, hello. Oh, we haven't even done this yet and decorated it. This is really fun. This bundle, arches, a good one. And I saw some people using the smallest arch as a word label off to the side. I was thinking about doing that. Didn't. Okay, even at the bottom, same amount here as amount there. I could scooch it around because I have it on with liquid glue. That looks good. Okay, this is good. Then this is going to go on with one big dimensional glue at the bottom and then a tiny little linen thread bow. Did you notice that on the samples? All of them have a tiny little bow. That's really cute. So I'm liking these colors. Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, and then Highland Heather, Swoosh. Okay, linen thread. Tiniest ever little single bow. Like smaller than a thumbnail small. Just an itty bitty. Okay, and this will go right about there. Thin glue so it dries quick. And I want these little tails. If I get it, capture it, and if it dries, okay, that's good. Now it's right in the middle of my workspace. But we have to work on the front. So here's the front. Like backing up a truck. Beep, beep. Okay, so, see, it's kind of a mess, but it worked out fine. This just gets attached. Just because I'm going to put the flower on with dimensionals, otherwise I'd toy around with putting one or two of these arches up on dimensionals. that can dry. Okay, so bling, I've used this one with the pink tones. I've used the middle one. So this time, oh, and I'm going to use my little friendly one right here. The softer ones. Highland Heather. Or Fresh Fuchsia. I don't know. They're all pretty. So this gets attached. Right in the middle. Okay. Dry. The flower gets attached with dimensionals at the top and glue on the stem, just because I'm going to put a bow there and a greeting there. A little bit of glue. So this will go right about there. Isn't that pretty? Okay. The greeting will go on with 4 dimensionals. Oh, I could use this strip. Air conditioner's going on. Is it gonna work? The man, he checked it. Tony says, I heard him saying over there, I still smell it. I'm like, no. He says, oh, just take a minute. It'll wear out. Okay. I like all the layers of detail, 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 pretty paper. Okay, and then this will go here. That's really pretty. I think the gold goes great with the crumb cake. And I'm fine because the ribbon is so sheer. I'm fine if it drifts over the greeting, the words a little bit. I'm being artsy. So that can go but right there. A little bit higher than planned. Okay. And I had to do my thing. I always follow it up with glue. I guess I was traumatized by pieces falling off in an envelope. And at Easter one year, I made Easter cards for coworkers. And people put it up on their cue ball with the pin. When I went back on Monday, and I was there early, just about everyone that hung it up, and even people that just had it on their desk, all the pieces had fallen off, including all the bows, and they were all just on the floor. I was over there fixing everyone's before they came in. So much for being early. I was being a card maker. Okay, so bling, including my little bonus. Let me see if it has sticky on it still. Yes, it does. How about right here? 2 more. 3 bling. See how this one is darker? Never know. Life is like a box of chocolates. Life is like, embellishments are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you'll get. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, look how pretty that is. And I think any of those embellishments would have gone fine. Because the Blackberry Bliss, the pinker ones, that would have picked up the Blackberry Bliss color. There's no going wrong. With all this stuff, you'll only do awesome work. Okay, we're almost done. color is so pretty. Okay, what do you think? Do you have a favorite? So when you see them all here, I somewhat did what I said I wasn't going to do. But I did it. The flower focal point. I said I was not going to make it matchy-matchy. And I think they all stand out very nice. This one is a little matchy-matchy, but I think it's okay because of the crumb cake background. Do you have a favorite? I like them all. Okay, thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe and like button. And the other day somebody shared it. That's appreciated too. Okay, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.